What is up, good people? Crypto Prepper here. Today is Friday, January 23rd, 2026. So today we're going to revisit Solana. And before that, I just want to mention that the Fear and Greed Index today is 34, if that makes any difference to you. All right, so about a month ago, we did bots on Solana, and I was ecstatic with a 34% APY over the previous 365 days. And so what I wanted to do was just do an update on Solana and show you these are the settings I used last month and got a 34% gain. So the only thing that has changed from what we typically do when we set up these bots is on that one last month, we did an averaging order step percent at 7%. Everything else is the exact same. I'm pretty sure. So this is the major difference. Um, I guess I need to go back and double check to make sure that the take profit wasn't any different. But when I, like I said, when I did that video a month ago on Solana and ran a back test using these settings, it produced a 34% gain. And so now it's down to a 30% gain on this setting. But when I was playing around with it earlier and looking at this and I did a little bit more uh, discovery jumping around and looking at each 0.10% difference. And I actually didn't go all the way up. I went up and down between 4.5 and 6, I think. So 5.4 is what I found to be the best today. And maybe in another month, I'll run these exact same settings and see if there's any difference. Like there was a difference between those original settings from a month ago. So with oops, with the 5.4 step percent difference, it looks like our back test as far as today, Friday, January 23rd, goes, it is 44.35, and that is on the Solana USD pair on Coinbase. So you can see we have a really nice looking um, chart here. We don't have a whole lot of space where you had to wait more than maybe 2 weeks there, and maybe 2 weeks there before seeing any buys and sells. And then I think last time when I did, oops, not a date range, when I did um, the notation about how much it's dropped, it was like 54%. So it's, let's see, about a month ago, been right before Christmas. Yeah, so that makes sense. It was down towards these lows. So since it's popped up and made some more profits and then dipped down and made some more buys. So that could be one of the differences. But excuse me. As far as today goes, um, it's dropped 52% rather than 54, but made 44.35% APY. So we see another thing I like to see on these that I don't always get, but I try to get them is these buy orders here. So we know based on the bot settings that we use that this line right here has 500, this has 250, this one has 125. So you have $875 in USD value that's still going to be continuing working on this bot, plus the 150-ish dollars that you have, or 100, whatever, $125 worth of that you have invested in Solana. The bot has invested in Solana so far on your behalf. So that's Solana USD on Coinbase, and the USDC pair did fared pretty similar, if not exactly the same. So 44.35, yep, and 44.35. So on the USDT bot pairing on Coinbase with Solana, everything else being the same, unlike the other ones that we've recently done, the the settings on those other pairs when we did like ETH and Bitcoin even, and maybe even XRP too, each pairing seemed to have a different setting here for averaging order step percent. But it turns out that the best setting in that range between like 4.5% and 6% step percentage on all three of these pairs was 5.4. So then the USDT pair didn't fare quite as well, but still 44%, or just under 44%. So not a whole lot of difference there. And then I can change this to 5.3 and you'll see what I mean, how it can change it quite drastically actually. So it was 44% and oh wait, I swear I tested this earlier. Okay. So interesting. So let's double check these other pairings and move this down to 5.3 and see if we can beat that 47.37. Now, okay, so this is interesting. So just that little bit of a percentage change on that step percent on the uh, USDC bot dropped it down to 38% versus the 44 it was at when I took it up to 5.4. So I thought I had tested that on USDT, but maybe not. I can't remember now because I'm trying to do as many I'm trying to do like the USD, USDC, and USDT pairing on each one of these exchanges. And so there's that little bit of a difference there on Coinbase. And then as far as Kraken goes, our USD pair with Solana using 5.3 on this one got us a 50.19. So if I take that to 5.4, you'll see it's going to be just a little bit different. So 50 point something versus 48. So either way, if you decided if you'd looked at doing a bot with the Bactus 5.3 order step percent or even 5, say you just go with the standard 5 like we always start out with, or I always start out with, and you get a 25% gain APY, you know you're still going to be ecstatic with that. But what you could do to kind of hedge yourself a little bit, if you really loved Solana, you could do multiple bots on even the same pairing and use different settings here with the step percent. And that is what I've been doing down here on my demo account with these like these ETH bots. So these are all ETH USD on Coinbase, and you can see how this one is, these have only been live for a little over maybe close to 3 weeks now. But it's been pretty boring, not a whole lot of action the last few weeks. So this one is going to take profit at 31.52. This one's not going to take profit until 32.49. So you can see how the um, different bot settings staggers those. Probably here's a 32.93, and I only have three on ETH, and then on XRP I have four different ones on Coinbase. So this bot is going to take profit on at 214. This one at 203. So it's staggered a little bit. So you're gonna see better gains, but then you're gonna have some that are, um, you know, catch these lower dips. If it does get down to $1.67, that's gonna catch it. Where this one is already fully vested. So if it dips, this one's not going to continue making you money, but these other ones will. So here's one that's going to be fully vested here, 180, and another one at 170. So it staggers your buys and your sells to give you a little bit more coverage on the chart. And that way you don't have, or you're less likely to have all your bots be out of range if you have a wider range between all of them. Okay, anyway, I kind of got off on a sidetrack there, but we'll go over to Kraken USDC, and you see how that one was a little bit better at 51.34, because of course, I lost my, um, oops, or did I? Let's see. Nope, that's Kraken too. Okay. And you can just rewind the video if you want to see the comparison between the USD and the USDC pairing on Kraken. So the USDC is just a little bit better on Kraken than the USD pair, and both of them are better than Coinbase, mainly due to the smaller, lesser fees. And then on, let's see here, USDT Solana on Kraken, we had a bot sitting of 5.4, and that got us 49.48. I think it just said. Yep. And then if we compare that to the 5.3 that we tried on Coinbase, and I had a 47 on that setting, 47.37 on Coinbase using that 5.3. When we use a 5.3 setting here on Kraken, everything else is the same. 5% there, pump dump protection off. And I know I didn't go through each one of these settings, but you can watch the rest of the videos and you'll see I go through them a lot slower on other videos. Um, but I wanted to try to quicken this one up a little bit. So 5.3 on Kraken did not perform quite as well as 5.4 did. So I thought that was interesting, but either way, all of those settings, you're going to have 40, 43, 44, 47, and in the 50 range on Kraken. Um, oh, and then, yeah, I just ran a quick, I forgot about this. I did a quick back test on Great British Pound pairing on Coinbase with Solana and found a 46.16. So that was better than the USD. Well, I think, but then I got to thinking, I was like, the conversion between Great British Pound and USD is going to throw off that calculation. So this may not be a better return. I don't know. And I don't have the math energy in me to do that. So I'll leave that to you to figure out if you wanted to play around with different international currencies like that for stables. And then before I leave you here, I wanted to give you an update on my personal actual live account. So I'm not going to show you any of the actual amounts. I got those toggled off. But what I did was I started setting up these bots the day of the liquidation on October, technically 11th, but it was on the 10th, but for some reason it counts it as the 11th on this. And this one is fully vested, so it's not going to make any money until Bitcoin pops back up to here. So right now I'm just doing a buy and hold strategy on these two. And the P&L is overall negative, but that's fine because it's just two bots. And then actually the sum total P&L just recently, because earlier today this was in the positive. So if I were to close all these bots, I would actually realize a 0.21% loss. But um, I'm not going to do that because the the bot profit is automatically in my USDC or USD wallet on these exchanges. And over this period of time with these bots, some as old as 3 months, 12 days, some as young as 2 months, 13 days. Um, Overall, they've produced 7.1% gain. And so even if I just take that and times it by four, we've got, basically I have a little over a quarter of a year in these bots. That's a 28% APY averaged over these bots. So assuming we do get pop back up here, of course, those are going to change. But I wanted to give you a quick update on actual live bots that I've been running. And of course, these older bots, some of the settings were, I hadn't got all the settings fine-tuned because, after running back tests on all these different settings, I'm um, finding that there are potentially better settings that I used here. So, uh, anyway, hopefully that helps in your journey on getting started with these bots. If you did want to get started using the Bitscap platform, I have a link in the description. Excuse me. That's actually a referral link. So if you sign up, it will help uh, support the channel. And I would definitely be happy to run a 365-day back test on some settings for you to help you fine tune with your journey. Not financial advice, of course, but just to help you out. So you can see I do have some sideways here. I haven't really talked about those in the videos, but what these ones do is you set up a grid and then the it catches all these are all limit orders that the bot automatically sets up. So when it dips down, it buys, when it dips up or when it pops up, it sells, and then it'll automatically recreate those the limit orders to keep it rocking and rolling. So it's designed so that it's never gonna sell at a loss here, but if I did close this out, it has a notation here that my entry price is 216, but I started the bot here at in the 240, 250 range. So it's actually taken down my DCA as it's made all these buys and sells here. So this bot has produced a 8.69% bot profit that automatically went into my USD wallet, and I have more XRP than I did before. So that's pretty cool. But these are a little trickier because they're they're a lot easier to fall out of range than it seems the DCA bots are. Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Pardon me for clearing my throat so much today. The cold air. We were out earlier. And but anyway, if you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to the channel. And if you have a favorite coin, leave it for me in the comments. And I'll run a bot for you. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.